don't repost them like I used to, but I literally I always forget who wins each week, so I have to go back and watch the video to see who wins. So like an hour ago, I'm like uploading credits. Like I don't remember. I had a list. I'm like I don't even know if that was this week. But anyways, I digress. Chapter 2.12 in the habits of health, and I feel like it's all kind of a blur now, but I feel like either we talked about it in the life book, or I don't know. It's all blur. But we're talking about the EAT system now here. Um, Anybody have some like kind of like things that really stood out to them in this chapter? Really spoke to them?
I'm waiting to see if other people want to talk so I don't go first like always.
Don't ever feel bad if you go first. There's nothing wrong with that.
I was just going to say that, this is the one that I accidentally read the wrong chapter 2 weeks ago. And so it was, since I'm still relatively new to the program, it was kind of neat to learn about the NEAT program because, I'm in the 5 and 1 and I've still got a long ways to go, but it was good to see how we slowly incorporate exercise into our life and the overall plan for just movement in general, which has been a question that I've been working on with my coach for quite a bit because my job is so sedentary and I used to go into the office at least. And now there's no office to go to. It's a home office. And so it's more sedentary. The bathroom's even closer. The kitchen's closer. Everything's closer. So I've been invested in a sit-stand desk. And I will say that reading the NEAT chapter reminded me that it does have the stand option and I should start using that.
No, absolutely. This one's the EAT. The EAT system, EAT. Yeah. So this is that intentional exercise.
Right. The intentional exercise one. Yeah. Which I've just been starting to be allowed to do. But yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's cool. It's funny. I talked to a friend of mine who's on the program. He's down. He just hit 100 pounds.
Nice.
And he just started working out with his buddy, who's also an Optavia client and who's like works out twice a day. He can't stop him. So he's on the 4 and 2. Like he won't listen to me. So anyways, but I said, that's the hardest thing. What I've seen as a coach and even as a client, where as you lose the weight, it's only natural for someone to want to be like, I want to build muscle. I get all this energy now. It's like there's this extra motivation. You're feeling better about yourself. You're looking in the mirror. I don't even know if it's always just about the healthy part of it, but it's just like you can't stop. You can't. That's like it's hard. You can't stop people from wanting to do all the things where they didn't have the energy or the strength or the motivation to do before. So it's been really interesting. Just letting all the coaches that just got out of training to watch that happen. But yeah.
Well, Sarah Shadle has to speak for sure, because speaking about EAT and intentional movement, I got to hear the pro tips. I know you got them.
You put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I don't. Okay, so I didn't read the chapter just with being gone at convention and stuff like that. And then I had no groceries and had to grocery shop right after work. So it was a question.
You're okay. Oh, EAT. Yeah, EAT. It's the exercise, activity, thermogenesis. NEAT. I think we did NEAT last week where they talked about the non-exercise stuff, the kind of the standing desk, the knee tapping, all those sorts of things to burn a little bit extra calories. This one's this intentional exercise.
Is it trying to get you to, it tries to get you to move more. And the one thing kind of that hit me is that he says, is walking the wonder drug? Because there are so many health benefits for it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm trying to remember this correctly, doesn't Dr. A say, it might be in this chapter, another one, but he's like that your mental, I'm screwing this up. Your mental clarity is better. I can't remember the words that he used, but just by walking, like,
right.
I can't remember I'm paraphrasing here. Sorry, guys. But he does say right here, I have it highlighted. It says, by the time we reach our 60s, the average number of steps we take in a day declines by as much as 25%. And he kind of talks about why. Well, it's unfortunate because of, all the injuries people have by not exercising. Who else? Anybody else get some takeaways from? I'm just going to kind of keep turning the pages. We hear from you guys.
Sorry, I kind of jumped in late, so I don't know if you already talked about it, but one of the things that really resonated with me was just the nature piece. So the whole study from Japan of woods, the wonderful walking in the woods or in the forest. Because I find myself doing those kinds of things all the time. That nature, I say nature is my church all the time because it's where I end up feeling most centered and balanced. And so, when you said, that it's kind of more about the mental or the stress piece, that specific study talks about how that stress plays a role in headaches and high blood pressure and heart problems and diabetes and asthma. And those walks in the forest helped all of those things.
What page is that on?
386.
Oh, there it is. Okay. And I did have it highlighted. Just the time in the forest part. I had it highlighted. Awesome.
Nikki, that brings up a really good point because we tend to think, or I think, I should just speak for myself, think about exercise as this thing you're doing for your body that's just going to be like a cardiovascular benefit or it's going to like help you lose weight, or it's going to be this one thing, when in reality, which is what I think Dr. A is really getting to in this chapter, all of the benefits, kind of like what you're talking about, it like it triggers the endorphins, it triggers all of the benefits. It helps, yes, walking helps your body, but it also helps your circulatory system and your cardiovascular system, and it also helps you to see nature and outside, and then you get vitamin D and on and on and on, and it's just so much more than the blinder focused version that I have in my brain is I have to go to the gym because I have to exercise because I have to get fit. And that's I feel like exactly, Sarah. No, exactly. In this chapter, I think he really talks about, well, in the 2 chapters, he's really outlining all of the benefits that it provides to you on the whole habit of health. I'm going away again.
You need to stop apologizing for sharing your perspective. That's what we're here for, right? If something's speaking to you, man, tell us about it, because I may have not caught what you caught, right? I love it.
Also on 387, he says you should have a fueling within 60 minutes of exercising. And I don't always remember to do that. But when I first started the plan, I was on physical therapy, and my therapist would go get an Optavia bar a lot of times when I was doing, when I was done with my physical therapy, and she would give me an Optavia bar.
Absolutely. Highly recommend that. Sometimes we've even talked with folks who are doing, when we know that some people would do Orange Theory, and that would always scare us because we knew how much calories were going to be burned. We're like, have a fueling before. And then if you still feel like I would even have one after, right? Because so many calories are being burnt. I've never participated. I don't only hear about these things, but I don't hear about as much about Orange Theory as I used to. I don't know if people are still into that, even though I see those businesses around. Yeah, that's good stuff. Anybody else?
Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
So yeah, I love that. I'm definitely like today in point. Like I was only gonna like do a short walk and ended up doing like 12,000 steps. And I was a little depleted after. This is not something it's kind of out of my wheelhouse. I'd sort of step back a little bit. So yeah, sometimes I have to like carry snacks with me and, really it's all about taking care of ourselves and listening to our bodies. So yeah, but that's awesome. I'm glad that it's that Dr. A puts this in here. I'm not just, listening to my body and doing things that he doesn't suggest. So thanks.
No, on point. Absolutely.
Kind of adding on to what Sarah said, I was having a hard time. I was feeling really depleted after my workouts. So I work out in the morning now. I eat or I drink a shake within 30 minutes of waking up. And then I go to the gym. And with the time that I get home, I'm at like 2.5, 3 hours. And I know I talked about this a week or two ago, but doing complex carbs after is really helping for people that are in maintenance. But that's kind of what this chapter is about, people that are in maintenance and adding in that more structured activity. But that has really helped me, and I don't feel depleted throughout the rest of the day. So those complex carbs, the good yummy carbs, are really important in that maintenance phase, and to be added in when you're working out and you're burning all those extra calories.
Thank you for that. Is anybody else, and Sarah's talking about maintenance and the importance of that, but has anybody, whether it be on the 4 and 2, 5 and 1, has anybody added intentional exercise into their days?
Yeah. So I didn't start right away. So I think after about 6 weeks in there, I was feeling exactly what you were talking about. I was feeling really good. And then I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go join a gym. I'm ready to do all kinds of stuff. And Anna's like, my coach is Anna, and she's like, well, let's just slow down there, kiddo, and see what we can do. And so instead, since I have knee and hip problems, I joined sorry, I got a cat here. I joined the local Lacey Parks and Rec has a deep water swim class that is it's 3 days a week, but you can join for one day, any one of the days. And I joined for one day. And so all I do is on Thursdays is I go to that class and I swim around. And I got to tell you, I've been able to progress from, okay, I'm here, and all that energy I thought I had wasn't maybe as much as I thought it would be, to then you have little flotation devices, to now I no longer need the flotation device. And now I actually do water resistant weight things in the pool, which helps, and walk against in the shallower end, walk with against the current, all of which is still better to be in the pool for me. And my wife, Victoria, who's on here too, she joined too. And so, I feel like that's been really helpful, because I'm afraid of getting injured, and I want to get to the point where the Sarahs are, both Sarahs, where I'm in maintenance at some point, but also where am able to do a whole lot more. But right now, I think it's that slow and steady, slowly add things in. And I've also started doing some isometric strength building exercises on off days. But yeah, and I added that in. And I think the first couple weeks I felt a little depleted, and Anna directed me to have a little extra protein. So I think I had some cottage cheese. But after that, after the first couple of weeks, my body adjusted, and now it's like I don't feel that need anymore. And I drink a crap ton of water with it too.
How do you feel like, as Dr. A talks about how, we were talking about the Wonder Drug on page 385, the top right, and it's talking about how it helps lower your risk for depression. I'm just thinking about your overall, how do you feel when you get done with that? Do you feel accomplished? Like, what is your feeling? Is it just about the workout, or do you feel better about yourself, or how do you feel about it?
So I feel proud of myself, because before I found this program, and I will try not to cry, before I found this program, I was barely able to walk. And I thought that I was going to have bariatric surgery, and that was my only solution. And I didn't know what else I could do. And I thought that I was going to have knee surgery and hip surgery. and I may still need knee surgery or hip surgery. I don't know, but my knee has greatly healed with the weight that I've lost. And I don't think I believed that that was possible. And so I didn't have any real belief that I could do anything. And so it's just a confidence builder is what I'm sort of leading to here, was just every stride, every improvement, I can add this little thing in. And then every time I get done at the pool, I'm like, look at me go. And not to be egotistical or like self-centered, but just because look at the things that I'm accomplishing that 3 months ago I didn't think would ever be in my wheelhouse again, let alone 3 months. So I feel greatly accomplished when I get out of the pool, and I also feel excited to be able to add something new. But I again have to go slow because Anna's like, no.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's such a big
Let me
deal.
elaborate for a second on the no.
Oh, there we are. Oh,
Because
crap.
here's the thing, you guys, and
Caught by
Sarah,
my coach.
caught by your coach. I think Sarah would echo this, and I don't remember exactly where or when you said this, Sarah, but something about if you could go back and do it again, you would have taken it slower. And that's exactly what Darylyn and I had talked about, was making sure that as we're adding this intentional movement, that it is something that's actually sustainable. If not, we're just repeating those same habits and cycles that we are trying to break by saying, I don't know, mine was always, I'm going to join a gym and I'm going to work out 7 days a week. And then I never did it, but every January I was going to go back to the gym and I was going to work out 7 days a week. And for some people that truly is their passion. It's not mine. I enjoy exercise, but when we integrate those new habits slowly, then it's truthfully a habit. Like Darylyn will add a second day to her water aerobics. Like this Thursday thing is really started to become a habit for her. It's something she looks forward to. It's now an important thing and not something that she's avoiding. And so once that becomes the routine, then we get to stack a second habit, right? So there is a no, but it's a strategic no to make sure that these things stick around and she's not just nailing it for a week.
And I haven't quit, to add on. I totally echo what Anna said, but also I had that other mentality that didn't have that self-confidence of, I'm going to go. And then I either got injured or I tried to do too much and was not successful. And then I would stop, and then all the self-berating would happen, or the lack of self-confidence would happen. And I wasn't getting that dopamine hit or any of that stuff. I was just going, wow, what's wrong with me? Right. And so now I'm doing something, like you said, I've got a whole new habit, and this habit is just the start for me. And I can see that, and I can see that I can become a Sarah. I don't know if I can do the name change, but I can become a Sarah. Give me time.
The name change.
I think it's important too, and part of where Anna comes from and where coaches come from. I have a client who started on a very different plan than everybody else, nutrition support approved and created, because he was heavy lifting, and it was necessary for the amount of calories he was burning. Well, life changed. He stopped heavy lifting. But I'm still going to the gym. I'm still doing this, but we weren't burning the same amount of calories. So then we're spinning for 2-3 weeks. Nothing has changed, but everything has changed. And we've got him eating way up here to match what he had been burning, but now he's only working out right here. And so it makes it a lot more challenging on a coach's side if clients are, and Apple Watches are great, but they're not always accurate. Things like that aren't always accurate. And so it's hard to find that balance and hope, keep people in a positive forward momentum of we're still losing and we're excited about the exercise we're doing and finding the balance between those and not having them hold you back on either side. But also, like, if you're working out super hard and you're like Sarah and you're like, complex carbs are great and it's maintenance, but you're not in maintenance, and you're supposed to be doing 5 and 1, switch it to 4 and 2. So we can have those conversations and know where everybody's at and what it's looking like, or we can help make a super fueling or that kind of stuff. But it is, it's tricky because we get excited and we want to go like run a marathon and we can't because we have a different goal in front of us right now. And that is learning how to fuel ourselves first and breaking that mental roadblock before trying to jump new hurdles, which if you've ever seen me try to jump a hurdle, it's not pretty. It doesn't happen. And I will fall and it's hilarious, except that it's embarrassing. And it's hard when we hit hurdles that we thought we could maneuver, especially when we're trying to do new things. And so if you have a coach that's trying to lovingly pump the brakes with you and give you a jump rope instead of a hurdle, jump rope with them. We promise. We're not doing it to be mean or to stifle that either. And I'm grateful that Anna was like, hey, go walk around the block and that's it, memes, because I probably would have thrown my whole program out the window if I had tried to do too much too soon.
Well, in fairness to Anna, she never actually told me no. It's just my language that I've interpreted my own self, which I have to do because I was going to go out there and do something that would throw off my program. And as a new coach, I now understand that, oh, my goal is to help that person not see what they're bringing to themselves and how that might be a hurdle instead of a jump rope, which I love that analogy. And yeah, and no, I appreciate exactly what you're saying. And I love that we're all coming. This is my favorite group, by the way, because we're all coming from such different places and we're all part of the conversation. And this just is so, this just gives me so much joy, this group.
That makes my heart happy. I love hearing that.
Well, on my, like you'd asked, on the intentional consciousness of exercise, I was fortunate enough that my insurance pays for my YMCA membership, and pre-pandemic, I had gone in that. But anyway, to slowly and intentionally get back into where I know I need to move, I did join water aerobics. And so maybe it's been like 2 months where it's 2 times a week, but life happens. I've had people from out of state stay with me in that. And, you know, but it was probably maybe about 4 or 5 times of the last 8 months I went. And where I really noticed, I didn't notice improvement. I was enjoying, you know, doing it, going to the hot tub. But we had a community garage sale here last week. And anyway, I only had a few items and I noticed people across the street. I'd never really met her. So I walked over and I said, would you care if I brought my items over to your items? And we kind of sat and visited, which we did. I was shocked the number of tables, chairs. I was taking them across the street and going, I'm actually doing this and my arms aren't giving out on me. And the only thing I can really contribute it is, you know, going to the aerobics, you know, for the hour or whatever. And so anyway, it's baby steps, but I'll tell you what, I'm going tomorrow. I've already, no matter what anybody asks me to do, I'm going tomorrow. Because seeing that self improvement in myself, I would have never been carrying groceries from the car into the house. You know, it can be a challenge, but to see how far I walked and what I carried, and then I went back and got more in that. So, so anyway, it helps me, and I'm glad we're. Daryl, and even what you had mentioned today, like with, you know, it's all baby steps. That's all it is. And, but guess what? I got to burn more calories. I got to move intentionally because I am recovering. I was walking 3 miles 3-4 times a week up to December and injured myself. So I'm getting myself back into it, but so you don't have to be weightlifting. It's okay to do water aerobics.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. Well, I mean, we got to it's 8 o'clock. I want to make sure I respect your time real quick. So to everybody's point here, well, let me start here. Everybody, I don't know if you noticed Jennifer, but she's been standing during this call. So she's like doing the neat stuff. And I see her doing knee lifts. She's like no one can see it, but I can barely see her. I think we should all come back next week, just stand for the entire call. I think that should be our goal as we go through it. Also on page 393, it does give a typical week of like the neat stuff combined with 30 minutes of walking. So I thought that was kind of neat how many calories you could burn. That was a cool chart. And lastly, the one that did speak to me, if you cannot speak or talk easily while you're doing your EAT exercise, then slow down. In the Army, we did that on purpose because you're trying to expand your lungs, but you may need to slow down if you can't carry a conversation. All right. By the way, thank you guys all for sharing. That you guys are super awesome. Let me share my screen here so we can do the Wheel of Fortune. That's not for me. All right. All right, everybody can see my screen. All right, cool. All right, here's the wheel. I think I got everybody. And let's just go. All right, Victoria. All right, next. Oh, Patty Johnson. Congratulations again. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for jumping on the call. Have a great rest of your week. Get some eat in, not the food, but like the exercise. Okay, cool. All right, guys. I'll see you later.